So I was talking about wired network troubleshooting. And what I said, you have to check the physical layer of the network to find out where there is no connectivity. So if a computer cannot connect to other computer on the network, or the computer cannot connect to the internet, you have to figure out if there is a cable that is defective, if the network interface card in that device is not defective. So you have to check to if there is electrical power, because sometimes lack of electric or no electrical power can cause a rupture in the network. So now the transfer speed of a network can slow down if the network equipment is not working to the highest available standard. Sometimes you may have a switch for years and you never update the switch. If you go to the manufacturer that made that switch, you will find out how many firmware are available to download to update the switch, and you never do that. It might be the same case for the modem, because sometimes based on change in technology, in order for the equipment to remain in good performance, you have to update the firmware. Sometimes you never do that. So sometimes you may have a switch and you have a faster internet connection. Suppose you have a switch that can transfer only 100 megabits per second. And you call your ISP provider, you said, I need more speed, and you upgrade to gigabit. And you still have the same switch that have the capacity only to forward 100 megabit per second, and you have a gigabit connection. So you will not be able to take advantage of the speed of the new bandwidth that is available for your network, because you have an older switch that cannot support that type of speed. And sometimes too, they are switch, they are managed switch. They have a program to manage the switch so you can get better performance. And you don't know how to use that software, probably you never touch that software. But sometimes the network is slow, you need to go use the switch management software to manage the switch to boost the speed of the switch. Sometimes even wireless access point. You may be in a situation because of an increasing of electromagnetic interference, what they call EMI. You need a stronger signal, but there is a button right in on your access point where you can increase the signal, but you never pay attention to that. And sometimes do just move the wireless access point around, or try to reposition the device can give you a stronger signal. So you have to look around to see what type of device you have and what options are available to increase the performance of that device. All of these are very important. So you may have network congestion. There are times, like myself, I create a lot of problems to my network when I'm uploading all of those videos, and when I'm uploading big program that contain a lot of audio and video file, or when I'm doing live streaming. I like to do live streaming all the time, so I can take 20% of the bandwidth of my network only for myself. So other people that are using the network might find out there is a slow time in that network. So this is something you have to pay attention, and sometimes you have to tell people there are times when everybody is busy doing the job. You cannot do a streaming. You can wait for later when nobody or few people are using the network. to do those things that will take a lot of bandwidth from your network. So all of this is very important. So sometimes the network cable itself can be affected by electromagnetic interference. So if you are running cable next to electrical wire, you have to be careful. Or if you are running cable in a place where they have a lot of electromagnetic interference, like if you are working in a factory where they have a lot of engine running around, if you are working in a robotic place where all the robots are creating electromagnetic interference, it is very important to understand the electromagnetic interference can affect data inside the cable. So at this point, just changing the type of cable that you are using can be very helpful. Because if you did have to install machine in a room and you're going to install a lot of machinery that will have engine that produce a lot of electromagnetic interference that can affect the data transfer, all you have to do is to change the cable. If you use UTP cable, you have to change to STP cable. A lot of time you can see people are pulling cable, ripping cable, replacing cable, you don't know for what reason. It depends of what they're going to do in that building. If a building never have to deal with electromagnetic interference and you're going to bring a lot of equipment where EMI will be a concern, you have to change the type of cable you use, because in those circumstances you have to use shielded pair cable. They have UTP cable, which is unshielded twisted pair, and they have STP cable, which is shielded twisted pair. So anytime EMI, electromagnetic interference, is a concern, you have to use shielded twisted pair cable. Those are very, very important to remember. Now, we're going to get to the good part. This is where you're going to use a bunch of diagnostic tools that are already integrated in Windows operating system to troubleshoot network. However, all of these tools, you have to run them in DOS. So in order to access the DOS pump, you have to go to the search and file dialog box and type CMD. And we're going to do that together. And I want you to practice that at home, because we don't know when we're going to sit down together on the lab to practice those things. And I hope the time you will come to a physical environment to do those practice, you will be already familiar with all of those tools I'm going to talk about. So let's go to the next segment so we can practice together how to use those tools.